The surrender that never reached Earth. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council echoed with the sound of clinking glass and artificial laughter. Flags of all member species waved above the round table. After decades of silence from Earth, they had agreed humanity was no longer a threat. They surrendered in spirit, said the council speaker, a tall alien with deep blue skin. No communication for 30 years. No fleets. No resistance. Victory is ours. No one questioned it. Earth had gone silent after the last great battle. The homeworld had shut down all gates, comms, and probes. Rumors said the humans had destroyed themselves, or maybe fallen into civil war. The galaxy moved on, and now they celebrated. Drones hovered in the chamber, broadcasting the celebration to 1,000-star systems. Speeches were made. The end of fear was declared. Statues of alien heroes who defeated the Terrans were unveiled, but on a small outpost orbiting the Council's outermost defense moon, something flickered. A junior technician named Liro sat alone in the darkened station, sipping from a cooling cup. He blinked at the console. An old alert blinked red, an unknown signal, deep space origin, pushing toward them with terrifying speed. He almost ignored it. Ghost signals were common in dead space. But the code of it was Terran. Ancient encryption. No one used it anymore. His eyes widened. Commander, he called into the comms. You need to see this. Within moments, the bridge filled with voices. Everyone watched the old-style waveform pulse again, then it played. A human voice. Calm. Cold. To the Council of Worlds. We just received your transmission. Silence. Then, we did not surrender. We simply did not answer. Static. Then the signal repeated, over and over, across every comm satellite in the outer sectors. The signal that shook the stars. The message replayed again. We did not surrender. We simply did not answer. By now, it had reached every major channel across Alliance space. Civilian networks scrambled to shut it down. Military outposts tried to jam the frequency. But it was too late. The signal was old, raw, untraceable, but it carried power, and behind it came the ships. From deep within the uncharted sectors of Orion's edge, sensors detected movement. Not one ship. Not a fleet. An entire armada, hundreds, no, thousands of warships in tight formation, gliding through space like a blade through water. Their design was unfamiliar, sharper, sleeker than what the galaxy remembered of Terran vessels. But the energy signatures were unmistakable. Those are Earth reactors, one admiral whispered. Panic started to ripple through the upper ranks of the Alliance Navy. Not fear yet. But the kind of tension that coils in the chest before a storm. They can't be serious, said a captain stationed on the Council's main orbital ring. They are 30 years late. This is a show of desperation. But even he didn't believe his own words. One ship broke formation and surged ahead of the fleet. A spearhead. Its name shimmered in white letters along its hull, HNV Guardian. No one in the Alliance had seen that name before. It didn't request docking. It didn't send a follow-up transmission. It just kept moving, straight toward the former Earth colony of Halon Prime, a planet now held by the Goran species and declared liberated after the Terran withdrawal decades earlier. On Halon Prime, life was calm. Peaceful. Children of aliens who had never seen a human played in the open parks. The idea of war with Earth was a tale told in classrooms, like a fable. Then the shadow came. The Guardian entered the planet's atmosphere with no warning. The local defense grid powered up, slow, outdated, reacting like a rusty hinge. It didn't matter. A pulse of energy erupted from the Terran warship, knocking out every system on the surface without causing a single explosion. It was surgical. Cold. Clean. Troop transports followed. Silent. Unmarked. Within an hour, every Goran officer on the planet was disarmed. Not killed. Not hurt. Simply removed. They were forced off-world in unarmed pods, their weapons dismantled. Before they hit the atmosphere. No message was sent from Earth. No demands were made. The humans did not reclaim the colony. They didn't even land long, they just left. On their way out, the Guardian sent one final burst toward the stars. We have reclaimed what was ours. This is not war. This is correction. In the Council's command chambers, fear finally took shape. Eyes that once rolled at the thought of Terran pride now stared at star maps showing a line, no, a route. Earth wasn't attacking planets randomly, they were following something. A list. A very old one. And no one knew whose name would be next. The first encounter, not diplomacy. The Council met in emergency session, holograms of alien leaders blinked into place around the Great Chamber. Their voices overlapped in fear, confusion, and disbelief. They attacked Halan Prime without warning. They made no demands. They could have destroyed the planet, but didn't. What does that mean? The Supreme Speaker raised his voice, silencing the chamber. This was not war, he said. This was a statement. He gestured toward the projection above them. A line of red lights blinked across the star map, every one of them marked a former human colony or Earth-aligned outpost. Places the Alliance had taken during the silence, and one by one, the lights were turning blue again. Claimed. Reclaimed. The speaker clenched his fists. We must stop this before it spreads. A diplomatic fleet was assembled. 500 ships. The Council's finest. They were sent to intercept the approaching human fleet near the Ulan Divide, a strategic system of wormholes. They came bearing messages of peace, but when the Council fleet arrived, the human ships were already there waiting, and they didn't answer. No greetings. No transmissions. Not even a scan. The massive Terran warships floated silently, perfectly still, like statues in the dark. Their hulls bore no markings of aggression, but the tension in the void was sharp. Then, without a word, the humans moved. They did not fire, they simply passed like a tidal wave sliding over a shallow shore. The Earth fleet ignored the Council's presence entirely. Their ship slipped through the wormhole gate in perfect formation, leaving the alien diplomats stunned and helpless. One ship, smaller than the rest, briefly slowed beside the lead Council cruiser. Its side displayed a single line of Terran text: "We were not late. You were early." The Council admiral stared at the screen, confused. What does that mean? But there was no answer. Hours later, another world turned blue on the star map, Rolta 4, a research station once co-built with Earth scientists, now fully alien-operated. The humans didn't invade. They landed quietly. Walked in. Took control. The alien staff surrendered without resistance. There were no casualties. Earth didn't plant flags or make speeches. They simply assumed control, like someone returning to their old home. In less than 2 days, 5 more systems changed hands. The Council began to understand, this wasn't conquest. It was reclamation. Earth was not seeking war, Earth was cleaning up. Memories of war, eyes of fire-old veterans across the galaxy stirred from sleep, their minds pulled back to a time they thought was gone. The Terran War had ended decades ago, or so they believed. But the fear, the lessons, the warnings, they were never truly forgotten. Now, with Earth's silent return, those memories were waking. On the Council world of Nara-TH, an aging historian addressed a live broadcast. His voice trembled as he spoke. The humans were never loud. They never boasted. But when they moved, they never stopped. They don't forget. And they don't forgive. The footage of recent events played behind him, ships falling, planets changing color, entire garrisons vanishing without a single scream. Across the galaxy, military commanders held emergency drills, but it was useless. Earth's fleet didn't need to destroy. They dismantled. Silently. With precision. They knew every station, every command code, every protocol, because those systems were once theirs. On the outer rim world of Tyran 3, an elite Alliance battalion prepared for war. Tanks rolled out. Skyships hovered. Orbital defenses glowed. Red, ready, and then, the Terrans arrived. 4 ships. No warning, they hovered above the military base, saying nothing. The Tyran commander ordered fire. The result was silence. Every weapon went offline at once. Every shield failed. Every aircraft froze in midair and slowly landed itself like it was being tucked into bed. The humans landed. Walked into the command base. No shots were fired. They opened the central server, took a small glowing cube, and walked out. That was it. The commander, stunned, finally asked through a loudspeaker, "Why spare us?" The human turned and answered calmly, "Because this is not your war. You just borrowed the house." Then they left. That night, the Council's private War chambers erupted in fear. These weren't the same humans they remembered, these were evolved. Upgraded. Quiet, but beneath the silence, the fire still burned. The same fire that once pushed back 4 combined galactic species in the early days of the First Terran War, the same fire that now returned without warning. Some council members suggested diplomacy again, others, those who knew better, refused. The humans have already spoken, one elder whispered. They just didn't use words. And so the galaxy watched. As Earth's blue light spread across the map, one system at a time. They weren't demanding peace, they were enforcing memory. The human commander speaks. The galaxy begged for clarity. Leaders demanded explanations. News channels speculated. Civilians panicked. But Earth remained quiet until the flagship appeared. It was massive. Far larger than any warship the Alliance had seen. Not sleek or beautiful like alien designs. No, this one was built like a hammer. It didn't glide. It loomed. The name across its black hull read, TNS Vindicator. From the heart of this ship came a signal, not hacked into networks like before, but broadcast openly across all systems. The feed opened to reveal a single human, standing tall in a dark uniform, expression calm, voice steady. He began to speak, to the Council and all who watched Earth in silence. We did not lose. We did not vanish. We stepped away. His eyes burned with cold certainty. While you signed papers and declared victory, we returned home. You thought we were broken. We were rebuilding. Across thousands of planets, people watched in silence. We heard your celebration. We saw our colonies renamed. Our scientists replaced. Our treaties burned. The human's voice never rose, but every word hit like a drumbeat. Now you say we come with war. We don't. We come with memory. He paused. Your declaration of victory arrived. We received it, 30 years late. But our answer is the same, no. Silence, then the screen cut out. The council met again, now stripped of certainty. Some urged surrender, though no surrender was demanded. Others wanted to send envoys, though none were welcomed. One by one, smaller governments began to collapse. Internally, some tried to erase their role in the past war with Earth. Others started covering up their involvement in former human colony takeovers, but Earth's fleet moved on without needing their permission. Meanwhile, rumors spread. Some said humanity had created machines that think faster than stars. Others whispered that Earth was no longer just one planet, but something far larger, hidden and waiting, and through it all, the human ships did one thing, reclaim. No terror campaigns. No glory speeches. Just quiet precision. A list. A mission, and as the humans advanced, the Council's power shrank, bit by bit, system by system, because now the galaxy knew something terrifying. Earth never cared about victory, they cared about truth, and the truth had finally arrived. The core worlds fall quiet. The Council's core systems had once been untouchable. Fortified. Shielded. Guarded by fleets thought indestructible. Now, those worlds waited in silence, from orbit to surface. Everyone knew the humans were coming, but they didn't come with fire. They didn't come with sirens or chaos. The fleet simply appeared. Black ships surrounded the capital world Veltrin. Each one positioned with perfect distance. No aggression. No warning. On the ground, the streets emptied. Government buildings locked. Entire cities powered down in fear. Inside the council tower, guards stood ready, rifles shaking in their hands. The speaker and his advisors gathered, trembling. No words were exchanged. Only waiting. Then a message blinked into the chamber. Plain text. No voice. No image. Just one line, this world was never yours. And just like that, power across the capital cut out, lights died. Communication froze. Even breathing masts of species who required support systems flickered for a moment before restoring with backup cells, but no ships landed. No missiles were launched. The humans did nothing. That was what terrified them most. The Council attempted a response. They sent out an envoy ship, unarmed, carrying peace proposals. The envoy crossed space toward the TNS Vindicator, its lights flashing the signal for ceasefire. It was ignored. Moments before reaching the flagship, the envoy ship lost power. Gently. Like a leaf on water, it was pulled back by unseen gravity and returned to its own space dock, without harm, without reply. Then the message returned, this time from the human commander himself: we are not invaders. We are finishers. The image faded. A day passed. Then the human ship stayed exactly where they were. No movement. No weapons fired, just watching, and across the galaxy, the meaning became clear: Earth did not need to fire a shot anymore. Their silence was more powerful than any invasion. The galaxy's people began questioning their leaders. Protests erupted on outer worlds. Veterans refused orders. Entire divisions resigned. Some species, once allies of Earth long ago, reached out in secret. We remember, they said quietly. We want to make it right. The humans responded with action. In certain sectors, ships were spared. Communications restored. Resources returned. The pattern was unmistakable. Those who confessed, who remembered with honesty, were left in peace, but those who clung to power, who denied their past, found their world slipping into darkness, one relay station at a time. 1. Alien General, desperate, pleaded for a meeting. The Vindicator finally replied, you were warned. You celebrated too early. We are not here to talk. We are here to remind. And so the core worlds fell quiet, not under fire, but under shame, the kind that cannot be erased. What remains after the arrival? By the time Earth's fleet reached the final mark on their list, the galaxy had already changed. The once powerful Galactic Council had dissolved. Some members fled to distant colonies. Others stayed in silence, hoping Earth would simply pass them by, but the Terran ships didn't stop. They moved with purpose, finishing what was left, not with war, but with closure. The last system they entered was Veres Prime, once a human-aligned science world, now turned into a wealthy industrial hub for the Council's elite. The planet's skies filled with black, hundreds of Terran vessels hovered in silence. Below, the elite waited with breath held, no defenses left, no plans remaining, and then, for the final time, a message was broadcast. This time, the voice of the human commander returned. His tone was different, calmer, slower, but every word struck like thunder. To those who celebrated too soon, you mistook silence for surrender. You mistook peace for defeat. But we were never gone. We were becoming something greater. The screen showed clips, old images of Earth's ruins. Fires. Dust. The great silence. Then, newer images, towering cities rebuilt. Massive orbitals. A glimpse of something, human children training beside machines, landscapes terraformed by hand and thought. You declared victory while we were planting our roots. You claimed our homes while we were building new worlds. Now, we return not to destroy, but to remember. One final time, the map of the stars appeared. Every system that once belonged to Earth now glowed blue, and then, the unexpected happened. Earth's fleet stopped. They didn't continue beyond their list. They didn't demand more territory. They simply held their ground. 1 by 1, small scout ships dropped from orbit. Not carrying weapons, but messages. Blueprints. Agreements. Apologies of their own, for those who had honored the old alliances. Across the stars, confusion turned into understanding. Earth had not returned to conquer, they had returned to restore. On the ruins of the old council capital, the Terrans raised a new flag, not one of dominance, but of memory. Beneath it stood humans, and behind them, aliens. Not enemies, but those who chose truth. The final message played across the stars: you declared victory. But you never asked us if the war was over. Now you know. And then, the black ships faded from view. Some returned to Earth, others remained behind, guardians of peace, watchers of memory. The galaxy would never forget again, because Earth had shown what silence truly meant, not surrender, but preparation.